Gone but not forgotten, many popular celebrities and musicians who are no longer with us still attract an audience in their own special way.
Play your part well, for there all honor lies. And he signed it Jim.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 popular grave sites of famous people.
This is the bench installed here by the Marilyn Monroe fan club.
For this list, we are honoring celebrities who've passed on, but continue to draw crowds to the cemeteries where they're buried.
Michael Jackson's burial here will inspire even more starstruck visitors who refuse to let the king of pop rest in peace.
Number 10. Bob Marley, buried at Bob Marley Mausoleum, 9 Mile, Jamaica. Those who plan a visit to the gravesite of this reggae artist, who died of cancer in 1981, will get more than a trip to the cemetery out of this outing. Tourists to 9 Mile, Jamaica can experience a Bob Marley-themed tour, which includes a visit to the house where he was born, as well as his gravesite, located in a local mausoleum. Marley's reggae was infectious, and a popular tour guide known as Captain Crazy keeps that spirit alive through his lively singing and dancing. Who knew visiting a grave could be so much fun? Number 9. James Dean, buried at Park Cemetery, Fairmount, Indiana, USA.
I don't want any trouble.
He was only active as a professional actor for 4 years, and he starred in just 3 films. But that's all that was necessary to make him a legend.
You know what you can do?
The face of his generation, Dean died in a car crash in 1955 at the age of 24. After his death, he was nominated not once but twice for an Academy Award, and his iconic status as a symbol of disaffected youth skyrocketed even further.
Are you not listening to me? You're involved in this just like I am.
The adulation has continued through the decades, as new generations of fans flock to both his grave and his childhood home, which is now a museum dedicated to the star.
Here's a clay sculpture that's called Self. Jimmy did that in high school.
Number 8. Frank Sinatra, buried at Desert Memorial Park, Cathedral City, California, USA.
You could never love a woman like you love danger.
Both a heartthrob and a rabble-rouser from the 1940s until his death at age 82 in 1998, Sinatra was one of pop music's biggest idols. Although best known for his singing, this versatile performer also enjoyed a lengthy Oscar-winning movie career.
He should see me bounce. I must have broke something.
Boasted celebrity friends aplenty, and rubbed elbows with important people like Martin Luther King Jr., as well as several U.S. presidents.
Seriously, this is Frank Sinatra's night, and I'm here out of gratitude.
Nicknamed Old Blue Eyes, Sinatra may no longer be filling concert halls, but his grave in Desert Memorial Park, near Palm Springs, where he lived for many years, still packs them in.
Sinatra would sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice.
Number 7. Johnny Cash, buried at Hendersonville Memory Gardens, Hendersonville, Tennessee, USA.
I hear the train a-coming, it's rolling around the bend.
This country music icon, who died in 2003, had a lengthy career and a colorful life.
I fell into a burning ring of fire.
The Man in Black survived the Great Depression, drug addiction, and legal problems, and performed for both prisoners and presidents, forging friendships with leaders from both political parties.
Well, you know, Johnny always wore black, and he wore black because he identified with the poor and the downtrodden.
Cash always sided with the underdog and advocated for the rights of the poor, Native Americans, and the incarcerated, among others.
Far from Folsom Prison, that's where I want to stay.
His grave in Hendersonville Memory Gardens is next to that of his wife, fellow country star June Carter Cash. And fans of country, rock and roll, and gospel music regularly pay tribute to his memory.
Cash died 10 years ago today. This vigil inside the Hendersonville Memorial Gardens will last about an hour.
Number 6. Diana, Princess of Wales, buried at the Spencer Estate Grounds, Althorpe, Northamptonshire, UK.
To love and to cherish.
Love and to cherish.
Till death us do part.
Till death us do part.
Between her marriage to heir to the throne Prince Charles in 1981 and her untimely death in 1997, she became the People's Princess, a royal who was approachable and real. She acknowledged and spoke openly about her struggles with bulimia and marital problems, while raising awareness about issues others were afraid to confront at the time, like AIDS.
With confirmation from Buckingham Palace tonight that the world has lost Princess Diana at age 36.
Ever since Princess Di was killed in a car accident in Paris, many people have sought to fill the void left by her loss by visiting her grave at the Spencer family estate. Number 5. Marilyn Monroe, buried at Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery, Los Angeles, California, USA.
Baby, I'm through with love.
One of the most iconic blondes in American entertainment, and probably the world, Marilyn remains a pop culture phenomenon.
Marilyn Monroe was found dead in bed, under circumstances that were in tragic contrast to her glamorous career as a comic talent.
People born long after her death of a drug overdose at age 36 have fallen under the spell she cast on screen.
Oh, do you feel the breeze from the subway? Isn't it delicious?
And her performance of Happy Birthday to President Kennedy is a part of 20th century history.
Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
Singers like Madonna, Lady Gaga, and Christina Aguilera have all been influenced by her, as have actresses like Michelle Williams and Scarlett Johansson. It's no wonder that so many admirers continue to visit her grave each year in Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery.
On August the 5th, the 50th anniversary of Marilyn Monroe's death, there will be many people here to commemorate her life and remember her death.
Number 4. Elvis Presley, buried at Graceland, Memphis, Tennessee, USA. The King was credited with popularizing rock and roll and influencing countless musicians, including the likes of Buddy Holly, Johnny Cash, and even John Lennon.
Well, well, well. Oh, well.
And he remained a fan favorite from the mid-1950s until his death at age 42 in 1977. His grave, as well as those of his parents and grandmother, is located on the grounds of his estate, Graceland, and the house where Presley died has been turned into a shrine for fanatics to tour.
The iron gates of the mansion, with their decoration of musical notes, were decked with tributes.
Even decades after his death, Elvis's gravesite is still visited by more than 500,000 fans each year, making Graceland the second most visited private home in the United States. Number 3. William Shakespeare, buried at the Holy Trinity Churchyard, Stratford-upon-Avon, Warwickshire, UK.
Now this, overdone, though it make the unskilful laugh, cannot but make the judicious grieve, the censure of which one must, in your allowance, outweigh a whole theatre of others.
You remember reading his plays in school, but you might not realize that some of your favorite films or television shows are also based on Shakespeare's stories.
No, I didn't care about the money, okay? I cared about you.
You are so not who I thought you were.
If you liked 10 Things I Hate About You, West Side Story, and My Own Private Idaho, or even TV's Sons of Anarchy, you can thank Will Shakespeare.
Clean yourself up, Jax.
The Bard of Avon, who died in 1616, is today considered by many as the greatest writer the English language has ever seen. And he ranks high both in visitors to his grave in the Holy Trinity Churchyard and in career longevity, as he's remained relevant 4 centuries after his death.
It's 450 years since Shakespeare was born. It's immeasurable what his legacy has done for the region, but also immeasurable what it can do.
Number 2. Michael Jackson, buried at Forest Lawn Memorial Park, Glendale, California, USA. The King of Pop represents a well-known example of a child star who achieved even greater success in adulthood. He was popular as a youth when performing with his siblings in the Jackson 5. And he found unprecedented solo success in the 1980s with the album Thriller, the best-selling album of all time. Even after his death in 2009, which shocked the world and prompted a huge outpouring of grief.
Michael Jackson has died in Los Angeles.
Jackson continues to influence the musical style of other performers. His funeral was one of the most watched televised funerals ever, and each year, fans continue to make the pilgrimage to Jackson's grave in Forest Lawn Memorial Park to say goodbye.
The mausoleum overlooks majestic rolling hills. Its main entrance marked by a Gothic tower more than 100 feet high.
Before we reveal our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Number 1. Jim Morrison, buried at Père-Lachaise Cemetery, Paris, France.
I'll keep your eyes on the road, your hand upon the wheel.
For many fans of 1960s psychedelic rock, a trip to the City of Light includes a stop at the final resting place of the Doors lead singer in Père-Lachaise Cemetery, where countless other renowned artists and musicians are also interred.
When she moves, my brain screams out this song.
The anniversary of Morrison's death on July 3rd is a popular date for a visit, as is his birthday on December 8th. While many devotees honor this member of the 27 Club by leaving items on his gravestone, others have vandalized the spot and stolen memorial pieces.
I'm gonna love you till the heaven stops the rain.
Ironically, while the cemetery where Morrison is buried is visited by around 1.5 million fans per year, rumors persist that the rock star faked his death.
And Jim was a crazy guy who no one I've ever met would be more capable of faking their death than him.
Do you agree with our list? Have you visited any famous gravesites? For more fascinating top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Whose beauty, both internal and external, will never be extinguished from our minds.